CNN hosted their gun control town hall Wednesday night, and boy, did it turn out to be one Orwellian hour of hate.
Senator Rubio, it's hard to look at you and not look down the barrel of an AR-15 and not look at Nicholas Cruz. But
mental health evaluations, and he slipped through the cracks. He would have never. That is what it comes back to.
Hey, Chris, you're serving. How do you feel? You're going to the military. You're 18. Okay. How do you feel about that?
I mean, are we talking about prevention or not? We are in the presence. Now, here's the caveat, if anyone wants to listen to the caveat. Number one. Number two, we have to develop better.
Dana Loesch, I want you to know that we will support your two children in the way that we will not. You will not.
Now, it isn't that surprising that CNN would be pushing a anti-gun narrative. What does surprise me is the audience reactions, including booing a rape survivor.
But I also think of young women, and you've had a previous town hall where you spoke with a young woman named Kim Corbin, who was a college student who was brutally raped in her dorm, and she was under the age of 21. And one of the things that she speaks out about loudly now is how she wished she would have had the ability to be able to have a shotgun, whatever it was, to be able to defend herself. I was 20 years old when I...
And Jessica Valenti was apparently quite upset that women would defend themselves with guns. The interesting thing that came out of this is the Democrats played their hands a little and showed exactly what they have in store for gun control. And though they thought the cheering crowd meant they were winning, I think a lot of Americans might see it otherwise.
We have to pass the bill that says if you're too dangerous to fly, then you shouldn't be able to buy a gun. All of those things should be done next week.
Yeah, he's talking about depriving people of their Second Amendment right without due process.
It's not the loopholes, it's the problem that once you start looking at how easy it is to get around it, you would literally have to ban every semi-automatic rifle that's sold in America.
And they just cheered a ban of semi-automatic rifles. A lot of hunters out there who are going to go along with that. A lot of people in the Midwest who want that. I don't think so. A lot of blue dog Democrats that are going to go along with that. They are making a very big miscalculation if they think that audience in that room is representative of the rest of this country. The Democratic sheriff of the county was also in attendance, spreading lies and misinformation.
But that's exactly what's wrong with this country. We have people in Washington, D.C., representatives, senators, and legislators telling teachers what they should do without asking teachers, what do you want to do?
Trump did not, in fact, say that. He said this.
You have people very adept at using firearms, of which you have many. So let's say you had 20% of your teaching force, because that's pretty much the number.
Implying not that he's going to tell anyone who can carry their guns, but rather let teachers who are well trained in carrying weapons arm themselves. And his exchange with Dana Loesch was full of deflection and misdirection.
Them to a mental health facility.
39 visits did not meet that standard. 39 visits, assaulting students, assaulting parents, taking bullets and knives to school. Did that not meet that standard?
Well, which are you speaking about specifically? You seem to know about all 39.
Well, I know there's one Florida statute where if he's sending messages threatening, if he's sending messages threatening to kill people, that right there, under Florida state law.
Who did he send the message to kill people to?
BuzzFeed, AP, Reuters, Yahoo News all reported that was to other students.
Who was the victim?
It was sent to other students.
Dana, Reuters can't be a victim. The only person who can be a victim is an individual.
Sheriff, is what I'm saying.
So if an individual was threatened and it was real, that's a crime. But if he's posting things...
They were threatened with death. They were threatened that they were going to bleed. They were threatened that they were going to be killed.
Well, what's your specific case?
And he had already taken bullets and knives to school. He had already assaulted people. He assaulted his parent. He assaulted other students. 39 visits. And this was known to the intelligence and law enforcement community. Now, I'm not saying that you can be everywhere at once, but this is what I'm talking about. We have to follow up on these red flags.
You're not the litmus test.
Doesn't that meet the standard?
You're absolutely not the litmus test for how law enforcement should follow up. You're wrong. There weren't 39 visits. Some of them, they were GOA. Some of them called from other states. To say there were 39 visits, I don't know where you got those facts, but you're completely wrong.
Where's she getting that 39 number? Oh, from CNN's own reporting. Maybe you want to talk to Jake Tapper about that one. As if the audience, the children, the questions, and everything else wasn't slanted hard enough against the Second Amendment advocates, we also have news that the few students who wanted to ask questions that weren't along the lines of ban all guns were denied the opportunity to, and even given scripted questions that they then turned down and did not attend. And of course, CNN, being the upstanding journalistic outlet it is, accused the kid of lying. Now, all in all, the night was a terrible mess, a parade of anti-Second Amendment garbage and emotional pleas. Now, the kids, I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for the parents. Don't get me wrong. But this is just divisive. This is not going to win the Democrats the votes they think it's going to win. All it is going to do is polarize and divide the electorate even further. I tell you, all the talk about a civil war I thought was exaggerated, but when you're talking about banning all semi-automatic rifles, you're talking about something that will make a lot of people very angry. If you want to take that a step further, you're talking gun confiscation. Now walk into Texas and try and take their weapons and see if something doesn't start. The applause makes them think they're winning this debate, but the rest of the country is not with them on this issue. They're playing with fire and they're going to get burned. Though Dana Loesch had one of my favorite moments of the night when she educated an admittedly grieving woman on the actual purpose of the Second Amendment. It's not just for muskets.
On that issue, at the time, there were fully automatic firearms that were available, the Belton gun and the Puckle gun, and in fact, the Continental Congress reviewed a purchase of one of those firearms for the...
Doesn't make it right.
Well, what I'm saying is there was more than just muskets available. We don't say that no one has a right to free speech because of Twitter or social media.
There's not all that much to say about it. This shooting was a tragedy. We need better background checks. We need better security. Banning all semi-automatic weapons is not going to help. Denying people their Second Amendment rights without due process is not going to help, and people are not going to go along with it. The sooner we wise up and make sure bad people don't get guns and make sure that good people have guns to stop the bad people, the better everyone's lives will be. This is not the way to do it, CNN. This is not the way to do it. Remember, we are the Republic's walls, and they'll have to come and take it.
From my cold, dead hands,